I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are the SG Boys.
That little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys. Aarti Olivia Dubey. That name alone, Sam Joe.
It's such a celebrity name.
Aarti with two A's.
Excuse me, are you famous?
I don't think so.
Aarti Olivia Dubey, you use all the pronouns.
Yes, I do.
A former psychotherapist turned writer and activist. On your Instagram, it says big brown queer.
Uh-huh.
And that is exactly what we're going to dive into each of those words, because I'm going to be honest with you. Those three words used to scare the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And in many ways, it still does. And a lot of my insecurities stem from being big, being brown, being queer. But here you are, proud of that, enough to even put it on your Instagram page. You're known as like an influencer that's so different from, I guess, what we're all kind of used to, that's synonymous to the look on Instagram.
The
Right.
cookie cutter influencer look, you mean?
Yeah, exactly, right? You're part of your headla.
Mm-hmm.
You founded SG Brown Queers.
Yes, I did.
This is Curves Become Her, Aarti Olivia Dubey.
Woohoo! Give it up. I love it. Like, the US of A has AOC, but we have
Right.
our very own AOD in the house.
Oh my god, I did not realize.
I love that. Before we dive into Big Brown Queer, we're going to just bludgeon you with like random questions.
Yeah, we're just being capo at this point, So indulge in us, please. If this were your last day, what would you eat?
Okay.
Your last meal, Aarti, no pressure. No pressure at all.
It'll be a very simple meal. It'll be like what I've had since I was 4 years old. Hoon goreng with mutton and sunny side up egg with a lot of chili sauce
Damn.
and one teh alia. It's just the perfect mix of flavors.
It's local food, like it's comfort food,
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been having it since I was 4.
Where's
It's
the
a big
best place
deal.
to get it?
Oh goodness.
Because I'm going to be honest, I've never had it in my life. Mi goreng? I've had
Mi
like...
hoon
goreng.
goreng. Mi hoon goreng.
I feel like I might have like
Mi goreng
taken...
you've had like the mi mama goreng.
But see,
I'm
the
sure.
mi goreng is so complex because there's so many different types of mi goreng. There's the kinds that's really like reddish, and then
Yes.
there's like the brown ones.
Yes, because there's the reddish ones are the ones made by the Indian Muslim stores. And then you've got like the seafood mi goreng, which is by the Chinese seafood places.
Yeah.
Like if you go to Chom Chom or something like
And then
that.
mi hoon goreng is the one with like the anchovies in it, right? The ikan bilis.
Not necessarily. I hate anchovies.
You just started sweating. I love it. What are you listening to right now, Aarti?
Oh gosh. Okay. So every year I start a playlist. This is RT playlist number 40 because I've turned 40.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You don't look
Was
a day after 18.
Lies.
Actually, I wouldn't have pegged you for 40. I don't know.
It's that brown skin. I told you.
I guess my favorite would still be Venom by Little Sims.
I don't know this song. Do you want to sing a little bit for us? I'm very like, an audio kind
Look
of
at you
guy.
putting
I
her
wanna-
on the
Oh
spot.
my god. It's
I'm
a
curious.
rap. It's a rap.
It's a rap. I feel like you can do the
Wow,
rap.
The lyrics are... It's a woman's world, so to speak. Pussy is sour. Never giving credit when it's due because you don't like pussy in power. Venom.
Oh, hey.
Is that it?
Hey. Yes.
Aarti and I actually met as guest speakers on a panel, like a webinar, because webinars were a thing.
Still a thing.
Still a thing.
Unfortunately.
Really?
Still a thing.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. So at the start of the pandemic, we both did this webinar together, and then we both followed each other on Instagram. And see, the strange thing is I've seen so much of your content for the past year that I forgot that we met at a webinar. That I just became like a fan of yours on Instagram. I just want to first of all, thank you for being big, being brown, being queer, and being proud of it on social media, because social media, for me through the years, has been really tough because I'll go onto my feed and it'll be a whole bunch of people that I don't look like, and it's fine for people to look how they look, right? Of course,
Right.
but it would affect how I view myself, right? Because there weren't enough of people who are big and brown and queer and owning it on social media. It was trying to use Facetune to cinch it all together and make it sort of palatable or lighten up your skin tone for
Right,
people.
right.
And you never do that. You embrace everything. You embrace cellulite, stretch marks, and motivating your audience. And I just, first of all, want to thank you.
That's so sweet. That's so kind. I try. I really do. I try. It can be challenging going against the grain in Singapore. 10 years ago, people were sort of ridiculing me. Well, first of all, you're a psychotherapist. How are you jumping into something like plus size fashion blogging? And I said, well, it's so much more than just fashion. Fashion is political. Our bodies are inherently political. And my big body has always been political. People thought I would just go the route of, okay, she's going to put on a dress and this is her outfit of the day. No, I didn't do that. I talked about how I felt wearing this dress, because a lot of those first few years, I was wearing outfits I hadn't worn ever in my life before. My first jumpsuit, my first bikini, posing for them, you know, in swimming pools, in public, and all of that stuff that was so new to me. I talked about how it felt, how terrified I was, and also how empowering it was at the same time. Coming into my own gradually and just evolving over the years with the community I have been a part of, then creating a community of my own. This community has been my saving grace. Yeah. It's been what's kept me going. It's been what's been a reminder for, listen, I know you don't feel great right now because Instagram doesn't exactly like bigger bodies. Facebook doesn't like bigger bodies. TikTok definitely does not like bigger bodies. But there are people who understand your purpose. There are people who understand why you're doing this. You know, for all those people who keep talking about, oh, this is just doing nothing but promoting, glorifying obesity. If I'm glorifying anything, it's just glorifying the agency for you to live your own life.
I love that. I love that. Seeing photos of you in a bikini, that was empowering even for me as a man, because I remember Katy Perry's firework video. It was just one small sequence at a party in the back, all these teenagers partying, and there's this one girl. While everyone is in the pool, she's afraid to just take her clothes off and jump into the water, and she realizes, no, I'm gonna do it. And just to sort of throw in how fashion can be so powerful, especially for plus size influencers, and why they're so important, is because I think for bigger people, we're so used to just being happy that we can find anything that fits.
Right.
And I want to look great in it.
Obviously now you're so proud and like confident, at least on the surface, on social media, because be honest, social media only tells one part of the story.
It's curated. Yeah, you're right.
It's curated to some extent, no matter how good a person's intention is. Like, I'll be the first to admit my own Instagram also is, it'll be a group photo, and then I'll look at it, I'm like, I love these friends and I really want to share this moment, but I'm not going to post it because I don't feel sexy there. Do you still have those moments where you, I'm not sure if this is the right word, but where you relapse back into that mentality where you're like, no, I'm really not feeling great about myself today. Yeah.
It's part of the process. So, which is why I talk about body acceptance now. When I first started out, I talked about body positivity. And I think everyone's assumption of body positivity is that you've got to love yourself no matter what. You've got to love your body no matter what. I don't think that's realistic at all. As someone who lives with multiple chronic conditions and with multiple disabilities, it is difficult to wake up in the mornings and be faced with pain, putting your foot on the floor and just wondering, you know, what kind of a day that your body is going to allow you today. And sometimes you get angry at it because you're just like, I'm taking care of you. I don't know why you're still being so fussy about things and stuff. So every day is definitely a process. I don't get hard on myself for having bad body image days, I guess. Yeah, I would just tell myself, listen, it's fine. The focus shouldn't be entirely on your body in the first place. It should be about yourself. It should be about your self-acceptance. So what else do you feel good about yourself today? Aside from your body, please be gentle with yourself. The reflection in the mirror is just, you know, one aspect of who you are. And even that isn't truly a reflection of who you are because you're seeing it from just your own perspective, you know?
Yeah, and it's presentation, isn't it? It's who you're going to present to people.
Yeah.
But who you're living as is a completely different thing. And I love what you're saying. It's about being conscious about it because Instagram has changed so much, right, Sanju? Remember, like, there was a period of time where people just uploaded whatever they wanted on Instagram.
Yeah, one of my earliest posts was just the kueh tutu I was eating. I don't know, legit. And then there's one of me doing hookah in America. long time ago. I looked terrible there. I think I've since gone on to hide it. But
And
that's
you
the thing. it's
remember
like-
those vignettes?
Yeah, I was all about the vignette.
Hipster-matic?
Yes, the filters, the preset filters that they
On
had.
Instagram,
So-
people just used
the
whatever.
borders.
Everything was sepia.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no one
Yes.
cared about likes or anything.
Right.
And then suddenly everyone's a model and everyone's a photographer.
Everyone.
See, that becomes tough, right? Because when your feed looks a certain way, you think, if I'm going to add to this, I need to be like them. With social media, the brilliant thing about it is you can completely switch it up just by making a few changes. By muting a few accounts. No offense to any
Yes.
of these accounts, but if you feel like they're triggering you a certain way and it's not healthy for you, just mute it. Follow someone else. Follow an activist. Follow someone like you, Aarti. And already the kind of photos that will come up in your explore page will be different.
True.
I have one Instagram account and I only follow like nerdy stuff like Mortal Kombat or video game stuff, Final Fantasy. So that's all I get.
Nice.
That's all I see. And I'll follow like a whole bunch of interior designer pages. So I just see like, oh, these are homes from the 70s. So my Instagram experience completely changes. I think that's something that all of us can do.
Yes.
Or you can even just get off social media. Like,
Yeah.
Big time.
completely. I know a few friends who have done that. One friend has never had Instagram, and sometimes we'll be like, can you please want to tag you? But you know what? These friends seem to be the happiest. To each his own, right? Some
Right.
people can't live without social media.
Right. My husband is not on any social media portals.
Oh, good for
At
him.
all.
Yeah.
And how's that been?
He's happy.
He's happy, right? Yeah. So
Okay,
I
but-
don't think I could be that person.
No.
But I think whenever you open up your app or your Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and if it's making you feel shit about yourself, then you know that, okay, this may be the most downloaded app in the world, but it's toxic. It's toxic for you. So drop it. It's like a toxic relationship. Easier said than done, of course.
Well, because I have done that before. I've done like social media detoxes through the years when things got a bit tense. Now I feel like I have a nice, healthy balance with my social media page, and I check my DMs when I want to check my DMs.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm obliged to. If I don't feel like I want to post anything, I don't post anything. So now I'm in a nice balance place. But there was a period of time where even if I don't go on social media, then people will message me like, hey, it's been a while since you posted. Are you okay?
Yes.
So just by being absent itself, or if you deactivate your account, people think you blocked them, or people think that, oh, you're doing this for attention just by not being around. You're doing this for attention. So it can get very stressful. It's a whole different world that we're living in.
they assume something's wrong with you, right? When actually it's
Yeah.
like, no, you're just doing this for yourself.
Yeah, just taking a break. Normalize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normalize just being off social media. It's like if the moment you're not on social media, it's like you don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's the strangest thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aarti, have you ever been exhausted by social media and like, you
Yeah.
know, want to just like quit all of that and
my
not have to
goodness.
deal?
That's a great question because, like, in my mind, your social media would be like a very positive space with very positive, like-minded individuals. So why would you ever feel stressed out?
Oh goodness. The vitriol I get, the trolls that I get, the DMs that I get, it's overwhelming. It's a lot better now. I remember back in 2016 when I picked a fight with Instagram because Instagram removed an image of me and my two other girlfriends. It was a behind the scenes shot of us in swimwear, and it was for a photo shoot for Clio magazine. And we were so happy, and it was removed because, trolls had reported it. And I was infuriated. But what happened after that was it sort of went viral. People would just not stop. There are like dedicated troll armies, I'm not kidding you, who really, really dislike bigger people, fat people, and they will make it their life's mission to just harass you to no end. A lot of former accounts, a lot of former advocates I know have left because of the hate that they have received. Death threats. Like, I've received death threats so many times. Coming to your comment section and saying things like, oh, they are like 2 steps away from a heart attack. Look at them. The first time it happened to me, I was so shaken up. It was my first one-piece swimsuit. A local guy had reposted my images on his blog and he tore it up with fat phobic gifs and was basically saying he wanted to vomit, looking at my body. And thankfully my community rallied and the post was taken down. I don't know if the account ever got taken down, but the post was taken down. That was like a very rude awakening. Every time I put an image up of myself, I always have it at the back of my mind that, you know, there might be someone who's going to say something, but I've gotten very accustomed. And also I know it's not a me problem, it's a them problem.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have to learn to pick your battles, because at one time I felt like all I was doing was fighting with trolls. All I was doing was telling them off. And I was just like, no, this is not my job. This is not my vocation. This is not why I started this. It looks outwardly like a positive space, but it's taken a very, very long time to make it this way. I am very territorial about my spaces and keeping it as positive as possible. So I guess that's helped. I use the mute, the block, the restrict buttons very, very freely.
Good. I mean, those are tools that should actually protect you in a sense and protect others who might chance upon your page and then see these comments and see them reflected and think that these comments apply to them. So I'm glad that
they can be triggering.
Of course.
We have Aarti Olivia Dubey, big brown queer. We're diving into each of these words, and you just talked about how protective you are, territorial you are, about the spaces you are part of.
Yep.
One incredible platform that you created last year was SG Brown Queers.
Yeah.
I'm part of the Telegram group as well. And it's an incredible community that I'm going to be honest with you, this was the first time I was in contact with many people who look like me, who have come from similar backgrounds. Because as someone who's half Indian growing up, the sad truth is, in Singapore as a minority, I wanted to be as far away as I could from being Indian. When you added me to that Telegram group chat and there were all these people in there and they all kind of looked like me, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't think I've had this many Indian friends or brown skinned friends here in Singapore. I'm not used to that because so much of my life I wanted to hang out with the Chinese group so that maybe I can be a bit lighter or I can be a bit more accepted, right? This is hard truth, right? So I'm going to share with you a couple of things. Like when I was young, I remember my grandmother would put baby powder on my face every single day before I go to school. And I was like already a big kid, right? So I would like perspire and then it would get like milky.
Oh God.
And people would make fun of me on that as well. But I asked my grandmother once before and my aunt as well, because they all would put like baby powder on all of us, even when we were like in primary school. And they were like, oh, your skin will look lighter this way. So I did not know about that. And I kept that at the back of my mind for the longest time.
Right.
Without sort of like remembering that experience. But it was a lot of that. It was a lot of skin lightening products that were very popular. I think still is very popular in the Indian community.
Very much so.
My question, which is a tough question, like when did you realize you were brown?
Primary 1, my first day of school. I actually made a TikTok about it. I had no idea what race I was. In fact, in kindergarten, I wrote my Malay classmate's name as my name because I thought that was my name. Because I was always just called baby boy. I was called a boy all the time because I really, really resembled a boy. Primary 1, we were on the school bus and I was going to sit down beside a Chinese girl and I sat beside her and then she just stared at me, pinched her nose, and then she went to sit with another Chinese girl. I remember I got quite a response after I put that video up because I also put an image of me at that age and people were like, oh my God, why would people do that? But that's when I realized I was different and that I was brown. Yeah. And I went home and I asked my mom, why would she do that? And my mom's like, you notice you all look different, right? There's you're brown, you're Indian, and then there are the Malays who are brown too, and then there are the Chinese, and there are the Eurasians, and I was still so confused. Oh, I'm different.
Yeah. I remember trying to cling on to the Chinese half of me, even as an adult, even into my 20s. And we're going to talk about being queer in a bit. but like I would go on, say, Grindr, for example, and that's a very common question that I'm asked, which is, what's your race? It's like the first thing I always get asked, like, what's your race? And I even notice things like if I put I'm Indian Chinese, they will react a certain way. If I say I'm Chinese Indian, they will react a certain way. I'll take responsibility for, even in secondary school, maybe actually even till now, if I have my headphones on, I'm blasting music and people know I'm blasting music, right? If I'm blasting like a Chinese song, like a Jay Chow, or when I was in secondary school, it was like, ooh, liu liu, or like F4 and all that. But whoa, you can listen to Chinese songs. And they praise me for being able to listen to Chinese songs. But I'll be ashamed to put a Tamil song on, or a song from a Bollywood movie that I'm watching on my headphones. And like if someone enters the lift and I'm listening to Indian music, I'll soften it. And it wasn't until, that's why I love MIA so much, right? Because MIA uses a lot of these beats and rhythms and songs from Indian culture, and then does her own spin on it, and it's political. And before I listened to MIA, I was so afraid of anything Indian. I don't want to be seen at an Indian restaurant. I don't want to be, because I was hating myself, right? I was hating myself, and I was worried that if I'm in this place, people are going to think, oh, this is my entire life and all I am is Indian, as if that is a bad thing.
At that time, my Indianness was, was just a part of me. I didn't really have to think about it. But in my teens, when we were being inculcated into like Hollywood, music from the West and all of that stuff, that's when I realized that, what I was listening to was maybe not cool. There were always these two opposites battling. It's still an ongoing battle I have. I guess there's also that part of acculturation that has happened where I still don't feel fully comfortable in Indian outfits, and I still feel like a misfit. And as much as I still love Indian movies and the culture and my people, that's still something that I'm unlearning as well. So I definitely relate to what you're saying. That's why I created SG Brown Queers. We needed that sense of community, which I don't think we ever had.
And that formed at a period last year where things got really tense.
Yes.
There were a couple of incidents that happened here in Singapore, an interracial couple being harassed on the street. I think an Indian family doing morning prayers, and them being interrupted by their neighbors who started mocking them, making gestures to... These incidents went viral, thankfully, because of social media. Things like these can get called out and we can have these conversations. And there were many conversations that were had at that period. But I remember I was talking to Samjo about this, and we wanted to talk about it, obviously, on the show. But I remember telling Samjo that I feel so tired at this point. I feel so tired. And I know that because this is the hot topic now, we should be jumping on it as a podcast. But the truth is, as sort of the brown person here, I'm so tired of this, because I've gone through this, and I've also talked about it so many times through the years, and no one really like bats an eyelash about it. And now, because it's the hot topic, I just honestly feel so tired, because I wonder if actually things will change.
Right.
And I think we also talked about the fact that as a Chinese person at this table, right, I think we also didn't want to talk about it for the sake of talking about it, because it was a trending topic, because it's not a trend. It's been happening for donkey years, like you said. Generations upon generations of Indians in Singapore have gone through that and have suffered the discrimination that, thanks to social media, like you said, is becoming more and more viral these days, and more people are calling it out, more people are reporting it, and more Chinese people, of course, are also checking their own privilege.
Absolutely,
and going like, wait a minute, actually, why do I think this way? Why do I act or behave this way? Why did I even say that? There's also a lot of learning to do. We didn't want to treat it like a topic, and I'm glad that we're, talking about it now.
Where we're comfortable, where I'm not so exhausted. Because when it was happening, I remember feeling drained, and I have to show love to our brother Kishan from T42, who did a phenomenal episode, and you can hear in his voice, he was tired at that point as well. But you, Aarti, took that as an opportunity to bring people together, to start sharing your stories. Okay, not just these stories that are making the headlines. What are other instances where horrible things happened to you and you had no one to turn to. No one was writing that story. There was no social media at that point. And you started getting a flood of stories.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
That was primarily my SG Brown Queers partner Nisha's initiative. You know, they would report back to me. They were like, oh my God, the stories coming forward are really, really emotional. And they are things that we can all relate to. And I'm like, okay, let's go for it.
Appalling.
Yeah,
Appalling that a lot of these stories we could relate to as well.
Right.
Because I would read all these things and be like, oh my gosh, I remember when that happened to me and I just kind of like didn't think much about it.
Yeah. And you can see yourself in all of these stories.
Yeah.
I'm just curious at this point, there seems to be some element of surprise there. Was there a point where y'all felt like, okay, this is just me, it's happening only to me,
Yeah.
only to my family,
Yes.
right? Is that where it's coming from?
Maybe I think you're definitely onto something, Samjo, because you know earlier on I was talking about how I would distance myself from anything Indian, right? So I didn't have many Indian friends because I was obviously very immature. I was afraid to embrace my culture because it was already being mocked and I was being ridiculed for being Indian so much as a child that I thought if I hang out with the Chinese people, I'm going to be okay. If I learn Mandarin, my mom's Chinese, so I need to keep telling everyone that I'm Chinese and then I'll wash off the Indian so that I don't have to deal with this. So my life is a little bit easier, right? Once I sort of reached that period of my life where I started to, like, I learned Hindi for a while and I started listening to MIA and I would actually start enjoying saying that I'm going to dress up for Deepavali. And if I'm watching like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai on TV, and then I'm going to Insta story it, you know? And I started feeling more comfortable with that. Then I started realizing when I was reading all these posts, like, I don't have that many Indian friends. And I didn't know that other people were having it as well and much worse. So that was like a wake-up call for me.
So instead of feeling isolated as you once were growing up, what about you, Aarti?
Same here. I didn't know any brown queers. Any other brown queers.
Oh, that's another extension.
Yeah.
Brown and queer?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing. I had a lot of brown friends, but oh my goodness, did I have any? No, I didn't have any brown queer friends.
Yeah. Insecurities bleeding into the decisions we make when it comes to who we allow into our circle. In the LGBTQ plus community, as much as that's a very beautiful thing, when you sort of first enter as a naive queer, you're scared, you're terrified, right? You want to be attractive. You want to be hot stuff. You want to be the trade. You want everyone to embrace you because you've not been embraced, right? So if you go in already brown and queer, and if you're feminine, that's another layer, right? Then if you see another brown person, you're scared to be associated with them because you don't want to be together left out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it absolutely took a while for me as well to just embrace myself and then also, of course, embrace other people who are brown and queer and be comfortable in that space sitting all together.
Yeah.
To start that off, Singapore, SG Brown Queers.
Yeah.
In Singapore, we're so used to just sweeping it under the carpet, saying racial harmony day. We're all wearing each other's outfits from different cultures. Everything is fine. So that's why, just to sort of go back to Sandro's question, that's another layer where we're constantly told that we have racial harmony and there's no such thing as prejudice here in Singapore where everything is perfect. So it must only be you.
Yeah, that racial riots and racism were a thing of the past.
Yeah,
right. Which
apparently.
is actually quite a harmful narrative if you think about it.
Yes.
So much has trickled down. Absolutely. Now, big brown queers, the final word, queer. You use all the pronouns,
I do.
which I think you might be the first person I know who uses all the pronouns because there's so much talk about sort of like technicalities of like asking someone's pronouns beforehand and then getting it right. And you're just straight up saying, I use all of them.
In the non-binary spectrum, there are different ways of identifying. And I identify as gender fluid,
Okay.
which is I identify as a he, she, or they.
I love that.
And so that's why all pronouns make sense for me.
And what do you have to say to people who are nervous about pronouns? Because there's always that question, right? When the moment you tell them that, okay, you're non-binary or that you are not cisgender or whatever, right? You know, and there's just been a lot of quarrels and arguments
And walking
online.
on eggshells as well. Just
Right.
not
Yeah.
being able to just very comfortably
Yeah.
ask someone.
Yeah, and not everyone's also on the same page about pronouns.
Especially in Singapore, where this is a still relatively new conversation. Like, reminder, we still have not gotten rid of 377A.
No.
Yep.
So we're still way behind, but I'm glad we're at least having these conversations right now. So what do you say to people who feel very nervous about that?
Yeah.
You know, it's just a slight tweak. I don't understand why you have to be so offended. If it's something that scares you, then, you know, take your time. You don't have to do it if you're not ready. It isn't wrong just because we're living in a country where we're made to feel like we're anomalies and that we're wrong. It isn't wrong. You know, I just want to remind you.
Okay. And non-binary.
Mm.
I remember when we spoke to Andrea.
Andrea. I mean, you say Andrea. I say Andrea.
Andrea?
Andrea Rosali.
Andrea, the moment when she learned the term transgender, that was life-changing for her. Just, this is
That's me.
Yes. Non-binary, I think for our generation, for so much of our lives, that was not part of the vocabulary. So when did you discover that word, that term, non-binary, and how did you feel when did you have that this is me moment?
I did. So I used to be part of the team, the global team, F Your Beauty Standards.
F your beauty standards.
Yeah, it's run by plus size supermodel Tess Holiday.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah. So I used to be part of the team, and so we had a secret Santa thing. My very, very sweet friend in London sent me this book about gender binaries and gender non-binaries. I was kind of like, are you trying to tell me something? You know, sometimes people can tell before you do. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I read the book and then I saw the word non-binary and I just went, oh, that makes sense. Because I always say life cannot be lived in binary. Life cannot be lived in binary. And I was just like, okay, this is really reaching out to me, calling out to me. It's something that I feel is part of my journey. And so, I read up more about it. I asked questions, and about a year later, I felt like I was ready to embrace the fact, not embrace it, but I guess to say it out loud to people aside from my husband, because he was the first one I had told.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did he react?
He was like, I'll love you whatever form you are.
Oh,
Right.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why he's your husband.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. You
Yeah.
chose the right human
Yes.
to be in
My
your
person.
life. This has nothing, non-binary has nothing to do with your sexuality.
Yeah.
And your sexuality is you're bisexual, I think you've told me
Yes.
before.
Yes.
Right.
It is.
I think that's stunning.
Oh, you're bi. I didn't know that.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am.
I mean, what are labels? But you know.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, bi, pan. I'm just like, yeah, okay. So he said that I love you in any form. When you came out to me when you were 18 and said you were bi, I was like, I love you.
You knew your husband when you were 18.
We've been together for 22 years.
What?
Yeah.
And married for 15.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I know.
Very,
I know.
very incredible.
Marriage was one of those things I never thought would happen to me just because of who I am. Big, brown, and queer. He is a very, very happy
Wow.
surprise that I have in my life. You know, it's made a huge difference because about 5 years ago, I had to fall out with my entire group of friends whom I was friends with for a long, long time because they basically said that because I was popular on social media, I was trying to trend. So I said I was queer. So I said I was bisexual. And that felt like such a huge betrayal. And, he stood by me the entire time. And how?
They said they thought that you were saying you were bisexual
Yeah,
in
because
order to
Yeah, because
whole
they
gain more
trendy thing.
currency.
Yeah, because they'd
and-
never seen me with another woman.
Uh-huh.
Because I'd been with Suresh since I was 18.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? You don't have to have been.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, of course not.
Right?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And people get it very twisted when it
So-
comes to sort of like thinking things are sort of trendy.
Mm.
And I go back to Andrea and watching that
Yes.
GG video where she learned the term transgender and it awoke something in her
Yeah.
that was not new.
Yeah.
It had always been there. And she says throughout the episode, I've always felt this feminine energy inside me. I just didn't know how to define it. I didn't know what to call it.
I love
And I
that.
just looked around at what other people were saying and I just kind of like stuck to it. Okay, I guess I'm this, I guess I'm that. So it's not of, oh, she was influenced by this video, then she become transgender.
Right.
Or, oh, I watched this RuPaul's Drag Race and then suddenly I'm a gay.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's these are things that we've always known about ourselves, and then you find something that finally puts a name to it, and then you go, this is me, and I'm gonna own it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love that you've done that. So going back to the 3 words, I want you to say it.
Big brown queer.
Big brown queer.
It's living against the grain, living a life authentic to who I am. Possibly for a lot of people, it'll probably be like something shameful or it'll complicate their lives to be so open about it. But I'm no longer living in shame. So to no longer live in shame and no longer live in the shadows of all that fear and sadness and shame that I lived with for so long, and being able to hold my head up high and just say, hey, you know, I'm big brown queer.
And what would you say to someone else who's listening right now, also big, also brown, also queer, or also something else that they don't love themselves for, but that's who they are and they can't change it? What would you say to them?
I would say welcome to the jungle. It can be scary out there, but if you decide to embark on this process of self-discovery and healing and getting to know yourself, it is going to be so liberating, and you are going to live a life that you will be proud of. I want to see that for so many of you out there. I want you to live a life that you can say, I've gone through a lot, but I've managed to step into my own.
I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe,
And we are the SG Boys.
that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys.
The beliefs, views, and opinions expressed on this podcast are attributable to its hosts only and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, organization, company, or individual.